Tommy Joe Martins is a current co-owner and driver for Alpha Prime Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. But before Alpha Prime Racing, Martins ran his own operation called Martins Motorsports, which ran in the Xfinity Series, Truck Series, and ARCA Menard Series from 2009 to 2021. While there were many ups and downs during that time, one weekend in particular stood out to me. It went so poorly that it's rather a race that Tommy would like to forget and for people like me to never bring up again. But oh well, let's do it anyway. Here's the story of Tommy Joe Martins and the terrible, no good, very bad day, Texas Fall 2017. So let's get into a little bit of a backstory first. After a rough full season in 2016 with many crashes and DNFs, Tommy Joe Martins and Martins Motorsports took their full-time truck operation and merged it with Brandon-Built Motorsports. However, in early 2017, after the spring truck race at Martinsville, the 44 suspended full-time operations to focus on a part-time Xfinity effort for Tommy and another part-time effort with BJ McLeod Motorsports. The number and truck owner points were sold to a new truck team called Faith Motorsports. Although they had planned a return at Iowa with Matt Mills in the 42 truck, Martins would withdraw the entry from the event. However, after 5 races, Faith Motorsports were running into organization troubles. Martins Motorsports came back and fielded the 44 entry for once again drivers Matt Mills at Kentucky and J.R. Hefner at Eldora. Following Eldora, Martins would field the 44 for the rest of the season in a partnership with AM Racing and driver Austin Wayne Self. However, at the Fall Texas race, it was announced that Self would drive the number 45 for Nice Motorsports in preparation for a full season partnership in 2018. Faith Motorsports would return at Texas with the number 44 entry using driver Ted Miner. Tommy Joe saw the chance to return and put out a special press release announcing the event, that he'd be driving the Diamond Gusset Jeans number 42 Chevrolet, the first time he had used the number 42 since 2011 and the first race for the 42 since its withdrawn attempt at Iowa earlier that year. Now let's get into race day. Martins showed up on Friday ready to go and all smiles. Unfortunately, it came to a crashing halt very quickly. On the first lap of practice going into turn 1, something broke, sending Martins into the wall and damaging the truck without a backup. The primary couldn't be repaired before the race started, nearly forcing the Martins Motorsports team to withdraw. Luckily, a break came through as fellow independent racer Mike Harmon, who had brought his truck to Texas, not to race, but rather to use it for the next weekend event at Nix, agreed to let Martins use it in the truck race later that night. With only 32 trucks entered, the 42 was locked into the field and skipped qualifying, and the team went to work getting the truck ready for the race later that night, putting in number 42 decals and prepping the truck, lining up on the grid last in 30 seconds. But the good deed was all for naught. Just 3 laps into the race, Martins, who had made it up to 28, blew a right front tire going into turn 1 and slammed the wall harder than it even done in practice.
In the outside wall, caution's out. Oh, big crash.
Huge hit for the 42, and that's Tommy Joe Martins. They were in the backup truck already because of an issue yesterday in practice.
Look how bad that truck's torn up, both sides of it.
Wow. I'm glad to see Tommy moving around in that truck. A hard hit. Thank you for the safer barriers here around this Texas Motor Speedway.
Now, safer barriers all the way around the outside and the inside of the racetrack here.
That's sort of puts you back into reality about 190 miles an hour down in the corner. When something goes wrong, what damage it could cause. And like you said, Phil, blessed to see Tommy Joe moving around. He's going to be shaken up for sure, but I believe he'll be able to get out.
You know, that's the thing that people have asked of what
wrangle that one back in. And that would have been
disaster,
catastrophic to
without
his
a doubt
championship hopes if he'd have put that on the wall.
That has the look of maybe something breaking on the right front of that truck. And then as he comes down the hill, he just can't steer it. And then hard.
Yeah, when we first saw that truck, I said it looks like an outside wall damage, and there it was right there. Great to see. There's Tommy Joe right there. Great to see him out of that truck.
So just 4 laps in, caution on the track for.
As if to add insult to injury, the truck was out of control and slammed into the wall in turn 2, this time on the left side, coming to rest on the backstretch. The truck was severely damaged on both sides, and a frustrated Martins climbed out of the truck, distraught and frustrated. The 42 of Martins will be credited with 32nd place, which was last, unfortunately. It was truly a terrible, no good, very bad day for Tommy Joe Martins and his team. As for the truck itself, it miraculously was repaired and ran the very next week like it had planned to at Phoenix with driver Mike Harmon, starting parking after 19 laps. In the aftermath, Tommy Joe would announce at the end of 2017 that Martins Motorsports would be ceasing all operations after a near $400,000 loss that year. But as we know, 2 years later, Martins Motorsports would return, this time in the Xfinity Series, and by 2022 was rebranded as Alpha Prime Racing with Tommy Joe Martins and a co-ownership with Cesar Baccarella. While the 2017 fall race at Texas is a day that Tommy Joe would like to forget, it's nice that his career has turned positive and is now one of the prominent underdog teams in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe the video. I hope you enjoyed this short story. And be sure to watch the ARC Racing podcast and all my other videos. Thank you guys and have a good day.